Aren't we lucky to have heard that original recording of a man in his 40s trying to find the end of a piece of sellotape and then miraculously finding it and unravelling the tape. Simply marvellous. Hello and welcome back to the final couplet with me, Theo Cowan. It's another week, another sonnet. Today we're looking at Sonnet 139. We're on the home straight. We haven't got that many sonnets left. Our time is coming to an end, but we really must enjoy it while it's still here. Am I right? First of all, before we dive in, I think we should have a little look if there's any Shakespeare news. So, Shakespeare news. Should stolen Shakespeare folio be repaired? So, a Shakespeare folio was stolen and then was found and returned to Durham University. And the problem was it's missing its leather cover and boards and end papers, which to me is a bloody joke. So the question is, should it be reinstated? Should someone repair that, or should we leave the folio in its state? Because I guess if the covers and stuff are missing, you're not going to have the originals, so you're going to be putting reproductions on that folio. Will it be the same? Here's my thoughts. Just leave it. That's okay. Just leave it. Don't worry about it. And in fact, I don't know how that's made the news. There's much more important stuff out there, and I'd say there's bigger Shakespeare news as well. So for me, I mean, who cares? Right, let's have a look and listen to Sonnet 139. Oh, call not me to justify the wrong that thy unkindness lays upon my heart. Wound me not with thine eyes, but with thy tongue. Use power with power, and slay me not by art. Tell me thou lovest elsewhere, but in my sight, dear heart, forbear to glance thine eye aside. What needest thou wound with cunning, when thy might is more than my o'erpressed defence can bide? Let me excuse thee. Ah, my love well knows her pretty looks have been mine enemies, and therefore from my face she turns my foes, that they elsewhere might dart their injuries. Yet do not so, but since I am near slain, kill me outright with looks, and rid my pain. So there we have it, Sonnet 139. And my initial impressions, Shakespeare's got a problem. He's always had a problem with infidelity, with his lover sort of cheating on him. That's a tale as old as time in Shakespeare's world. He's often cheated on his lover. So, it's a two-way street, isn't it, Shakespeare? But he's clearly, a bit annoyed about his lover sort of looking at other men and hurting him in that way. But at the end of the day, he knows that his lover knows that she is hot, real hot, and she knows that that's powerful, and he knows that that's powerful. But I think we should dive into this in a little bit more detail and find out what the hell Shakespeare was going on about in Sonnet 139. So we start with, oh, call not me to justify the wrong that thy unkindness lays upon my heart. So I like when he starts with an oh. It's like, it's a grab, isn't it? Oh, come on, listen to this. Listen to what I'm about to say. It's nice. We don't do that so much anymore in poems and stuff like that. But why not? Anyway, oh, don't call on me to justify the wrongdoings that you have hurt me with. So I shouldn't be the one to justify those wrongdoings. You've been doing bad things, and we're about to find out what those bad things are, but he's alluded to them in previous sonnets. You've been sleeping about with other men, and it's not good. But don't ask me to justify the wrongdoings that you have hurt me with. That's not on. Wound me not with thine eye, but with thy tongue. So don't wound me with your cold stares. This is what I'm reading as. Don't wound me with it. Don't look at me like that. You're looking at me very, very cold and sort of angrily. That hurts, all right? But just speak to me. Use your tongue. Use your mouth. Don't just look at me and think that I know what you're thinking. Just talk. Let's talk. It's quite therapy speak, that, isn't it? How can I read your mind? Just talk to me. Use your words. It's actually quite a mature thing for Shakespeare to say, considering all the other crap he's said in the past sonnets, isn't it? Then he continues this thought with, use power with power, and slay me not by art. So I read this as, use your power openly, all right? Don't destroy me through art. I think, is sort of sneaky. That was the meaning, sort of sneaky, sort of manipulative. So tricks, So don't try and trick me. Don't try and manipulate me. You've got this power and you need to use it openly and be forthright about it. And then he goes on to say what she needs to be forthright about. Tell me thou lovest elsewhere, but in my sight, dear heart, forbear to glance thine eye aside. So it's okay. You can tell me you love other people, you're into other people, okay? But please don't look at them while I'm standing right next to you, while I'm in front of you. Don't be looking at those other guys, while we're walking together in the street, for example, or we're watching a movie. Come on. Keep your eyes on the prize, aka me. It's fine if you tell me, look, yeah, I'm into other guys, but don't demonstrate it, all right? Don't go looking at all the other hot men in the world. It's not on that. What needest thou wound with cunning, when thy might is more than my o'erpressed defence can bide? So this is really the same thought, but he's saying, why would you need to hurt me with these manipulative tricks that I've talked about, when your power over me is already more than I can withstand? So I am already in this vice-like grip of yours, and you don't need to do these little weird tricks and stuff. I'm already surrendering. I'm on my knees over here. I'm having a tough time. So you don't need to do these little games. You don't need to look at other men and stuff. I'm already submissive, really. And then he says, let me excuse thee. So he's saying, let me make an excuse for you. Here you go. By the way, if you're looking for an excuse, here it is. He continues with, my love well knows her pretty looks have been mine enemies. So my love, aka you, know all too well that your beauty is my weakness. And therefore from my face she turns my foes, that they elsewhere might dart their injuries. Now I read this as, so she knows her beauty is Shakespeare's weakness. So you look away from me to kill my enemies instead. So I sort of read that as she's trying to attack other partners, other men. She's trying to get other men in her grip. Like he's had a problem with that in the past, where he's been talking about his friend and his friend falling in love with her. And he's like, you know what, take me instead. We're both at your mercy, but take me. Don't do that to my friend. So he's sort of painting her like this sort of crazed warrior that is out there to enslave all these men. Now we're on to the final couplet. And he's saying, yet do not so. But since I am near slain, kill me outright with looks, and rid me my pain. So don't do that. Don't go looking at these other men to ensnare, in a way, since I'm almost dead already, all right? So kill me outright with your looks and end my suffering first before you go look at these other men and go get off with these other men. I'm here and I'm almost dead. It's quite a strange and almost vulnerable sonnet here from Shakespeare. And I think the overall message is that he's saying, look, if you don't love me, please stop torturing me. I'm on my knees here. I've said that a few times, but it does feel like he's sort of grasping at her ankles here, desperately going, look, I love you so much, and if you love other men, just finish me now. Because it seems to me that she's flirting with these other men, and she's looking at them all sexy and stuff, and she's doing that in front of him. And in a way, that's humiliating, isn't it, for Shakespeare? And we know this, he does not like to be humiliated. So essentially, he's just saying, be straight with me, be honest with me, don't play games with me. Tell me straight up if you don't love me, because I am in turmoil here. You're tormenting me. I like this one. It shows another side to Shakespeare in a way, a sort of more vulnerable side, and a more pleading side, almost more, dare I say, pathetic? No, come on, let's not be that harsh on him, but there is an element of that, isn't there? Right, I think it's about time we put this to our story. And if you remember last week, Shakespeare has returned home from his night trying to break up the Dark Lady and Ben Jonson, his friend, and he's frustrated. And it's 1 a.m. And then he gets a knock on his door, and guess who it is? It's the Dark Lady. She's been with Ben Jonson, but she has reassessed, and now she clearly wants to be with William Shakespeare. And she pops up to his bedroom and beckons him in. And then they sort of have this chat where they're both kind of just lying to each other. He knows that she's lying about not having any other lovers, and she knows that he's lying about his age. He's saying he's 17 to her for some mad reason, and obviously he's not. He's a man in his 40s. So that's crazy. But they're both just accepting it. And Shakespeare's clearly weirded out by this. He's a bit frustrated, so he says, sorry, I've got to go to the toilet. And he looks at himself in the mirror, sees the wrinkles and goes, this is ridiculous. And he scrawls Sonnet 138 down. He then reads it to himself whilst looking at himself in the mirror, almost like a pep talk in a way. And he's saying, why doesn't she admit that she's a liar? And why don't I say that I'm old? And then he comes to the conclusion that love is actually best when they pretend to love each other, the lovers pretend to love each other. And therefore, he's going to sleep with her and she'll sleep with him, and they'll both flatter each other even though they know that they're both lying. So let's see how that pep talk sonnet goes down and how Sonnet 139 fits into all this. Shakespeare finishes reading Sonnet 138 to himself in the mirror, and he realises maybe he should just have sex with the Dark Lady and continue lying to her, and she'll continue lying to him, and all will be okay, because that is actually a healthy relationship. And so he kicks open the bathroom door, runs over to the bed, jumps as high as he can, and lands right on the Dark Lady. And she goes, bloody hell, Shakespeare, what are you doing? Get off me. And he says, oh, sorry, I just got a bit excited, sorry. And she says, God, you hurt me. You almost broke my bones. Shakespeare said, I'm really sorry. I just got a bit carried away. I was giving myself a pep talk in the mirror, and sorry, I just find you very attractive, and I wanted to sleep with you. And she says, well, take it slow, Shakespeare. Come on, let's have sex, but let's not do the jumping stuff, shall we? And so they make love. And it's absolutely fine for the Dark Lady, but Shakespeare thinks it's the best thing that's ever happened to him. He's sky high. He's riding high. He's having the time of his life. The next morning, Shakespeare is up early, making bacon and eggs for the Dark Lady. She comes down. She goes, "Whoa, Shakespeare! Wow, breakfast! I didn't expect this." And Shakespeare says, "Yes, well, it's the least I could do after last night. Did you have a good time?" And Dark Lady says, "Yep, it was great, thanks. Really, the best I've ever had." And Shakespeare said, "Wow, really? Yeah, I have been told that before. I'm pretty good in the bedroom, aren't I?" Dark Lady nods slowly. Yes, you are." Shakespeare said, "Please sit down. Have some eggs and bacon and everything. Please, it's getting cold. Hurry up." And so they eat. They don't have too much to talk about, but Shakespeare is clearly head over heels in love with the Dark Lady. Shakespeare says, I was thinking maybe we should go for a little walk today. A nice Sunday stroll through London. The Dark Lady says, yes, that'll be nice. Lovely. And so Shakespeare helps her into her coat, and they walk the streets of London arm in arm. Shakespeare is having a fantastic day. And then he starts noticing that every man in his 20s and 30s, 40s and 50s, in fact every man of all ages, the Dark Lady is looking at, almost as if she's trying to seduce them, almost as if she's flirting with them. Shakespeare coughs a few times when she looks at other men, and she slowly returns her gaze to him. He's getting more and more frustrated by this. He is totally in love with her, but she clearly is looking for love elsewhere, and she's not being honest about it. Shakespeare says, are you okay? She says, yep, absolutely. I'm having a great walk, thank you. Shakespeare says, you do love me, right? The Dark Lady says, yep. And Shakespeare says, just me, right? There's no other. You're not looking for love elsewhere, are you? The Dark Lady says, no, absolutely not. Why would I? Shakespeare says, yes, okay, good. Why would you? They walk past a pub, and Shakespeare says, let's go in here for a quick drink, shall we? And so they dive into the pub, and the Dark Lady starts talking to the barman, flirting with him. They're laughing together, and Shakespeare is humiliated. He can't believe what he's seeing. But every time he gets annoyed, he can't help but think, God, she is the most beautiful woman in the world, though. What am I going to do? She clearly wants to have sex with other men, but I'm so in love with her. She's captured me. She's got me captive, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's ridiculous. And so, as the Dark Lady flirts away with this barman, Shakespeare produces a pen and paper and starts writing Sonnet 139. The Dark Lady is completely oblivious to his writing, and he scrawls and scrawls for nearly 2 hours. Eventually, when he looks up from his sonnet, the Dark Lady is still flirting with the barman. Shakespeare says, hello, sorry to break this up, this lovely chat. I hope you're having a lovely chat, but I've got a sonnet to read. And the barman says, oh, do you? Oh, go on then, mate. And Shakespeare said, no, not to you, for God's sake. I need to read this sonnet to my partner here. And he says, oh, that's your partner, is it? Sorry, I didn't know that. And Shakespeare says, yes, we're together. And the Dark Lady says, well, we're sort of together, but doesn't mean that we're exclusive. And she winks at the barman. And Shakespeare said, well, I think it does, actually. Please let it be. And the Dark Lady says, oh, for God's sake, Shakespeare, I'm just having a laugh. Shakespeare says, look, I need to read you this sonnet, and I need it to be in private. And he drags her through the pub until he finds a little closet in the corner. He pulls her inside, closes the door, and they stand in darkness. Shakespeare says, are you ready? And the Dark Lady says, yeah, make it quick, because this is very weird. And Shakespeare says, yes, I'll make it quick, but I need to read this to you. And she's, can you read it, because we're in a dark closet, so have you memorised it? Shakespeare says, oh, damn. And he quickly runs out of the closet, grabs a candle off the bar, and returns. He clears his throat and reads Sonnet 139. Oh, don't call on me to justify the wrongdoings that you have heard me with. Don't wound me with your cold stares. Speak to me directly. Use your power openly. Don't destroy me through manipulation. Tell me you love other people, but please don't look at them whilst I'm standing right in front of you. Why hurt me with manipulative tricks when your power over me is already more than I could withstand? Let me make an excuse for you. Ah, my love knows all too well that her beauty is my weakness. So you look away from me to kill my enemies instead. But don't do that. Since I'm almost dead already, kill me outright with your looks and end my suffering. So there we have it, Sonnet 139 and the story to go with it. Shakespeare's getting desperate. Clearly the Dark Lady doesn't love him as much as he loves her, or maybe she's just up for an open relationship and she does still like him. We'll find out more, hopefully, next week in Sonnet 140. Until then, bye!